Alright, so this video may be triggering to anyone who has beliefs or has been through uh, things dealing with sexual abuse. And I want you guys to know that I'm trying to approach this as sensitively as possible. But I think that there is something that needs to be said that isn't being said, and I am going to say it. I don't want fame on this. I just want people to at least possibly see things in a different light. And if not, then perhaps, you know, there's a dialogue that could be had on this. So allow me to explain. So on Facebook and YouTube and different platforms, there are stories about a child molester or rapist, whatever, going to prison, people finding out what they did and beating them up, raping them, or killing them. Now, I have a major problem with that because because the judicial system, they were arrested, the judicial system, they tried them and they convicted them, gave them their time. Now, whether or not it's enough time is debate. Some people do get light sentences for doing horrible things. That's just the problem with the judicial system. Okay, but it's not the problem of the other inmates. It's not the duty of the other inmates to cause harm or violence. Prisons are trying to make it a hate crime for prisoners to harm sex offenders because sex offenders are being harmed at an alarming rate. And what a hate crime is a crime against a particular group by another group simply for existing in that group. So that's why. And a prison's job is to keep all the inmates alive, safe, I guess, safe-ish. And so, yeah, they can't just be having people run around killing and, you know, assaulting anybody for whatever they did in prison. But the reason why I disagree with that, and the reason why I think that there needs to be a change, is because whenever there's a murderer running around like Bundy or like um, Gacy or Dylan Roof, and they're arrested, or even like the Columbine shootings, and they're arrested, the first thing that people want to do is call them monsters. But then, of course, the second thing that they want to do is study them. They want to study what's going on in the brains of these people. And it's often found that there's been trauma or birth defects, or like Ed Gein, there's a mental retardation, because, you know, murder and serial killing is just not a normal thing for people to do. And I noticed that there are not as many studies when it comes down to rapists and sex offenders. And the reason why I think that's important is because these people are sick. Nobody in their right mind thinks in their heads that they want to molest or rape someone, sexually abuse children. Nobody in their right mind does that. And I think it's important to understand that perhaps, at least perhaps, this could be, these behaviors could be something that's caused by an incident either during their development or within their lives. I believe that there must be a causation for the behavior. So maybe something went wrong in the womb. Maybe some wires got crossed. Maybe after they were born, they were abused. Um, there are many cases of people who were sexually abused who go on to abuse other people. And I think that we need to stop just immediately going to savage, animal, disgusting people, kill them all, to let us get a committee together. And when I say us, I mean scientists and, you know, prisons should work together, uh, like psychiatrists and stuff, should work together to figure out the causation of this behavior, the causation of this, I guess you would say, compulsion to do something so disgusting. Now, I'm not saying that they don't deserve their time. Child molesters and rapists, they deserve to be put under the jail, because that's just, look, it's murder here, it's child molestation and rape here, and then, whatever crimes are below that. So yeah, I do believe that, they are a menace to society, they are a danger to children, but the reason that they are such a danger is because they're not understood in the clinical sense, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to say, we need to understand how they feel. I'm saying that we need to understand what makes them tick, what causes the behavior. Because the best way, instead of locking up pedophiles, instead of locking up chomos, instead of doing that, the best way would be to study what makes them tick, identify it, and then figure out how to deal with it before it becomes an action. Because if we are able to delete the action before it happens, then it won't happen. And that's why I'm saying that instead of cheering that they're assaulted, we need to be more worried about being angry that they're not being studied properly. We need to be angry that the prison and mental health communities are not working together to figure out the cause and root of this behavior, and they're just looking at them as like pieces of meat instead of human beings who could possibly have a problem, and a major problem that could possibly even be fixed, not as in the person themselves, but the problem on a whole. And yeah, obviously we're not going to get them all, but if we get enough, that would drastically, you know, that would drastically affect how many people are raped, molested, and such. So that's my video. I just, again, if I upset anybody with that opinion, I apologize. But that's just how, from a clinical standpoint, I feel. And if I've always believed that if there was a problem, there has to be a cause for the problem. And if there's a cause for the problem, there has to be a way to, step in before that happens. And I think it's important in all cases where the behavior of a person is not typical of a human being, it needs to be addressed. So please, comment. I would love to know your thoughts on this. Again, this is not from a place of seeking fame or seeking likes, but learning and trying to figure things out. Because if this video can help somebody understand, or help somebody go to someone in the scientific community and start something, then I'm happy. So y'all have a good one. God bless.